match of the day. We've got a Clash of the Titans, folks. Team Ultimates taking on NRG. Only one spot left in the semifinals. Let's see who gets it.
We love the North American RLCS. We always get these unique matchups on Championship Sunday, like Atomic, Beast Mode, and Daniel against First Killer and Chronic again. But this time they have LJ. That makes it a unique matchup. Game 1 on Manfield, brought to you by Progressive, as the Ultimates try to knock out NRG and make their way deeper into Championship Sunday. Here we go.
I mean, it's crazy, Stacks. This is what everybody predicted the grand finals to basically be, right? And we're having it in a quarterfinal. It means a whole new NA and potentially a time for a whole new champion if the Ultimates can pull off what everybody is currently deeming the impossible.
Between these two teams, they average about 19 shots a game so far this weekend, but they're also 1 and 2 in shots allowed defensively. So we'll see what gives here. Does that change anything, or will they both be able to just get out and run roughshod over the opposition? Here we go. It's First Killer racing to the corner. Atomic takes him out, and he'll have free reign on this ball over towards Beast Mode, but had to leave that back for Daniel. Beast Mode's up. First Killer trying to chase him away, and there's that great high Rocket League IQ that you always expect out of some of the special players. First Killer's got plenty of it, and he stops the play and will give everybody time to reset.
I mean, before I start, ripping into the Ultimates, I will say individually, I do believe this team is more than capable of taking down NRG individually. But when it comes to playing as a team, Ultimates do have their flaws more than most. More notably, they do play a little bit more disconnected than most people realize that they do. And unfortunately for them, you're going against NRG, the former G2 roster, who is the most connected team in North America, virtually, right? So there is a lot for the Ultimates to have cleaned up from yesterday into today. I already saw one double commit come out of the Ultimates, which makes me a little fearful for them, but I will say props to them for going these first 2 minutes scoreless. That's a good sign, at least, against this NRG squad.
Well, NRG was stifled a bit against Team Evo as Atomic just misses high. They still managed to win that series and win it convincingly in 5 games. Another clear away as the teams play back and forth, and looking for Beast Mode to try and get through Chronic. Foot race to the ball, won by First Killer, just ahead of the oncoming attack. But you look at this team over the past couple of years and you go, okay, well, it is Sunday. It's, first of all, a new day, and second of all, it's the most important day of the event, and this is when this particular roster shows up and balls out. We'll see if that holds true here as Daniels just missed high, and a quick counterattack on the way from the Ultimates. Chronic flip reset, stopped short by Beast Mode.
First Killer's touch almost waterfall down, but a better long clear allows NRG into their half. Atomic calls himself off. Daniel's next, half a tank to work with here. Bumped off the ball means this one goes back, but Beast Mode's not gonna be stopped that easy. Demo's coming through all the way around, and NRG just lurking in that mid line, choosing pretty good moments to attack as well. One of the few moments that Ultimates had finally broken in, they quickly got a race on back. Beast Mode under 1, not under 2.
Well, LJ trying to get around Atomic, who maybe set that up for First Killer off the 50. It didn't work out. Now here goes Chronic. Looking to circle around on one. Took a big wide turn, and his shot ripped away by Beast Mode. And Daniel's going to have a look at this from the side wall. Not quite the position he'd like to start from. And all he can do is just dump that off to the corner, off the defensive challenge from the Ultimates. Here goes Daniel again. Another defender in his way. You're not going to get a whole lot of time to make plays happen on either side here. Both these teams have been incredibly stingy. NRG only allowing a goal and a half per game. You're going to win a lot of games and tournaments holding lines like that, but they do have to get on the board. Minute to go. Atomic floaters high, and LJ's got all day to play it.
You just got to keep following these through. 1 minute left to go here in this game number one. Beast Mode takes his time and brings it down. The follow from Atomic a little bit slow, and First Killer recognized it, so the back pass is going to have to be the play right here. LJ up next, though, round one. Can he get it down? A center to Chronic, completely denied by Beast Mode and Atomic as they send this one upfield into that Ultimates half. It is going to be short-lived, though. As another clear comes out, and really it's just pinball back and forth until someone can stop it, and it was LJ until he got taken off the play.
Beast Mode landed awkwardly, but Daniel's in position. I mean, nobody has really threatened to score. I mean, we've seen some high-level plays, but again, nothing threatening to beat either of these defenses who have been spectacular. LJ shot here is just a little wide. The net was open. NRG got lucky. Can they capitalize? Daniel, Atomic, Beast Mode back to Dan, and he's going to slow play. No time on the clock at LJ with one final save before we maybe go to overtime, unless Atomic's got something to say about it. Down to the ground, Daniel can't keep it in the air, and we do go to OT.
A very solid attempt in the final moments, but now you enter a new high-pressure situation. This one sent up to First Killer. Reset, not past Beast Mode, but still floats in front of that backboard as Daniel just tries to slow things down a little bit. He recognizes there's going to be an attack soon, and it's from LJ, 50 down. First Killer shot
in overtime. It's the Ultimates off this out of LJ. Great 50 against Beast Mode. Keep it available. First Killer in the right place at the right time. And that's all it takes. Ultimates a 1-0 overtime winner. And now the challenge for Sathu and NRG. How do you counter that? How do you get the offense rolling? Because they were not afforded the kind of time they've been accustomed to throughout this tournament to put up some of their more gaudy stats. They were the #1 offense going into yesterday, #1 defense coming into today. That's all great. They're only numbers on a piece of paper as Ultimates take game one.
I think, honestly, a really solid performance from the Ultimates. Like I made note of watching them yesterday, it felt like they were so disconnected at times. And that goes even for their group stage, but they really seemed to get it together here, especially when it matters most. When you're playing up against a team like NRG, everything that you do really and truly does have to be intentional. You can't be guessing where anybody is at any moment in time. So they did a great job of holding them back. And of course, ending it in OT, I feel stings a little bit more than most, because you do have that reset moment that NRG couldn't quite get a grip on.
First Killer was brilliant yesterday. 6 goals in the series against Space Station Gaming. Not enough as they get sent down out of that bracket. And their reward for coming oh so close but still so far away is this NRG squad. They do get game one as we go to Forbidden Temple for game 2. Try to reset now and get the scoreboard lit up maybe a little bit sooner. Try to get it done in regulation. NRG has the same thought as Beast Mode's going forward. And can he get back to this ball? He sure can. Down in front. First Killer did all he could to keep it out, but Daniel scores.
I mean, you saw this one. It really just was a full team effort on it. First, Beast Mode had to virtually get past everybody, and once this ball broke past, LJ thought he had dug balled it and might have had enough time or hoped somebody was there to make a clear, but no. Daniel was right in their faces in front of that goal. Make sure it goes on in, and NRG wastes no time getting on the board in this game.
Beast Mode will try again. It's been the focal point for NRG, and that one was starting to change color, but stays out from the line. And Beast Mode coming out from midfield to cut off that counterattack, but First Killer tries to re-trigger it, and he will at least get down to the NRG end, but Atomic is right there. Trying to set it up for Daniel. Instead, he has to settle for Beast Mode. Why not? Again, he's been all over the ball. First Killer tried to slow play through Daniel, and he's having none of it.
Daniel taking his time, reset over Chronic. Second touch almost found its way in. Unfortunately, it's the third from Beast Mode that will actually go through. The full team efforts are back and in business.
Second and third chance efforts are going to be critical for NRG, generating all those rebounds. That's how they get so many shots per game. And it's working to perfection here. Already a couple of goals in the first minute. 5 shots while not facing any at all from Ultimates. The game is still young. LJ up to first killer. Chronic is there as well. And it's going to be cleared out by Daniel. That one falls apart from Ultimates.
It's just a slow cooker right now from NRG. Beast Mode, another attempt. Just a floater in front. FK didn't even have anything in the tank, but still manages to make sure it's out. LJ, flick over one, has to go up against Atomic next. Not quite, leaves it for Chronic. And NRG, when they are finally forced back to a great job of breaking out, everybody from the Ultimate is way too far forward, and NRG walk away with a free third goal.
Everybody on the scoreboard now from NRG. A goal and an assist for all 3 as they have started to run away with game 2. I mean, everything has been in their favor. Possession, field control. They've had far more boost at any given point than the Ultimates have, more often than not. Here goes Daniel. He'll just try and pop that one past Chronic, and then again, second chance opportunity maybe brewing for Atomic. The first killer's in the way. Beast Mode trying to create, and that's going to go netward in a dangerous spot. Right now, Ultimates are really just up against the wall. They cannot get out of the zone. They can barely breach the center line. LJ will do exactly that. It just doesn't feel like they've got anything going their way, though. Here comes Atomic again, and he kind of waited for Chronic to get in the air first. Now Daniel, pop it high, got the demo as well, but Chronic clears. Took just a little too long to develop for NRG, and of course, why overcommit? You've got a 3-goal lead in the first half.
Exactly. There is no reason to do so in this moment in time. And second half of the game is underway, and Ultimates are trailing. They haven't even had any real opportunities at this point in time. They've literally had 1, but NRG has 4 on top of every shot that's been registered. I mean, you might as well just pile on and let them know who you are.
If this were a fight, they'd start thinking about stopping it. Even into the second half, NRG has solved the puzzle. And the Ultimates now have a couple of minutes to try and figure out how they're going to fight back against this new NRG. Daniel just being disruptive. Keep possession as long as he can. More possession for NRG. Deep in Ultimates territory. Atomic blocked by first killer. Can they at least get something on the board? Great pass over to LJ, and LJ will score it. And that transition offense is exactly what Ultimates needed.
This entire play is the reason why people have the Ultimates in their top 3, right? And top 2 even at times. For first killer to have gotten the save and then the quick transition out, and LJ's just right up there, up to speed with him, and they are able to make the shot in. That's what they're capable of. Unfortunately for them, we don't see that as often as we would like, especially against a team like NRG. But at least 1 shot on the board, but it's answered for now. Beast Mode into the back of the net.
This is getting ugly. May not be getting ugly, it is ugly. Beast Mode with a couple to his credit now. And NRG sending a message right now to Ultimates. It needs to be a full team effort. You can't just rely on one player. You can't have a weak link if you're gonna take down this squad. This is the kind of Sunday squad from Daniel, Beast Mode, and Atomic that we've been accustomed to. And everything up to this point doesn't matter. They got themselves to Sunday, and they're in prime position now, leading 5-1 in game 2. It's only going to tie the series, and every game can kind of take on a life of its own. But if this is any kind of an omen at all, Ultimates are going to be in a ton of trouble.
Oh, 100%. I mean, for the first game to turn into what this one has, in NRG just to completely stomp on the Ultimates in this game number 2, it really is. It's just kind of a testament to what the rest of the series is about to look like for NRG. As Chronic goes up, this one's gonna bounce. LJ's gonna take his time. The challenge from Atomic does come through, and it 50s back into the corner there. Demoed off the play, but still, this one's all the way back in that Ultimate half.
We wondered near the end of their run with Gen G if Chronic was ever going to get going as that shot goes wide across the face of the goal. And he hasn't really been factored into the offense much here with Ultimates either. Had by far the fewest touches, about half as many touches as anybody else in game one, or rather, yeah, in game one. And he barely has any touches here. You got guys like LJ, who's been on it over 60, 70 times. Chronic's only touched the ball 25 times in this game, which maybe in some of y'all's ranked games might sound like a lot, but at this level, not so much. His double tap there, blocked at the goal line. Needs to get out of the starting blocks. Ultimates never did as a team in this game, and NRG makes a statement in game two.
I mean, this is the NRG we all know and love. They're unstoppable at this point. They had their way with everything. I mean, you look back at the replays, even when a shot was sent off, the follows were so quick to come through every single time. In this moment, Ultimates completely had gotten caught off guard. They went way too far upfield, and NRG is gonna recognize those mistakes every single moment that they are given and presented in front of them. So, I mean, shout out to Ultimates for trying. I mean, you can see the frustration and the concentration on their faces, but I mean, it's warranted, especially if you are going to be playing. Again, I go back to that disconnection stacks that the Ultimates really just ultimately is always the reason that they lose some of these series.
Not going to win many games giving up 15 shots to the opposition. That's what Ultimates did there to NRG. Again, a team that is accustomed to hitting double digits. They've done it plenty throughout the weekend. They do it here to the tune of 15, and not so many at all for the Ultimates in return. But we go to game three, and again, look how drastically different game two was from the opener. Ultimates now get a fresh 5 minutes, start 0-0. This opening kickoff going to be pretty important for them to try and set the tone and get back to their winning ways, or at least get back to the not getting blown off the field ways as we go to game three.
Well, let's see if there's any difference or if things just are a complete repeat of game number two. Daniel just going to take his time controlling this one, trying to keep it in possession of NRG. First killer, quick cut around, but Beast Mode's challenge goes all the way forward. And NRG have their way with this ball. Daniel, a little bit faster than FK on it, but it lands to Chronic. Great flick over. Can they work together? One of the better touches. They finally let him in on the play, and he finds his way on in the FK demo to open that net wide out.
Yes, Ultimates, when you let him touch the ball, good things happen. Of course, big credit to First Killer for the demo as well. Took out the defender coming across, but it's a first strike out of Ultimates and Chronic. And now what else do they have in store for NRG? They had plenty of time to think about it as game two kind of wound down. I mean, that was, you don't want to say necessarily out of reach, especially for a team of this caliber, but it certainly did seem like the result was going to be as one-sided as it was for a while. So almost serves as kind of a mini timeout with Chronic and LJ now jumping for the same ball, and that doesn't work out for them because here comes Daniel. Got his flip back, and Beast Mode shot goes well wide. Trying to keep possession, though, with Atomic. Outside the first minute, NRG looking for an equalizer and finding none, and not even finding a scoring opportunity, thanks to the defense of Ultimates.
Chronic just up on that side. No boost to his name, though. A little bit of a run-in with First Killer there. Atomic just taking his time. Mind games around the defense. Slowly working. Daniel tried to push forward. First Killer at least sends him back a little bit as LJ and Chronic work together upfield. But still, only one goal to their name as of now. Beast Mode just trying to get them on out. He does. It's very low boost, but the reset into the center almost worked for Atomic, but LJ catches them out. Right place, right time.
Little scoop and score for LJ. I mean, Daniel gets caught up and just turns the wrong way. Just like, okay, can I go for a rebound? Nope. Got caught being a little too aggressive. And LJ doubles the lead now for the Ultimates. They're not necessarily doing it with team plays. Don't need to. All you need is the ball to go in the net. Now they got to play some defense. Beast Mode couldn't take out LJ. Atomic looking to go back to Daniel, but might be snake bitten a little bit. He's a little more hesitant to come forward, and that affords Ultimates a little bit of time. But now Beast Mode tried to go in behind Chronic, and he made a good read. Shot from Daniel title sales high again. That's happened a few times to him over these first 3 games. And it's Ultimates with all the momentum now.
You got to keep that momentum going, too. You can't let yourselves get slowed down. Beast mode back to Daniel. Daniel to the backboard. His first killer takes it back. It's low boost. He bumps Atomic completely off, but it doesn't even matter. This one was already up in the air. First killer, again, just trying to follow this ball, but that mid line currently belongs to NRG. And LJ is going to make his attempt here. I don't think Chronic's anywhere up the field. There was a small touch there. But for now, NRG, though they are trailing, starting to look a little bit better possessionally.
LJ had his pocket picked by Daniel, as Chronic will have to bring it all the way back. Just keep it away from beast mode. Now mode, looking for Atomic. Not so much. Instead, it's Daniel coming up from the back, and another save made. But can NRG keep the attack alive? Daniel down towards Atomic. No, towards Atomic. Recently hitting a milestone. We'll touch on that in a sec, as beast mode has kind of lost the plot there on the side wall, and first killer will clear it away. Ultimate's fully in control here, where NRG had dominated the previous game.
And this is such an important thing, you know, to note if you are an Ultimates fan. The fact that they are able to come back in this is a huge sign of life. And there's another breath of relief as this third goal comes out from none other than Chronic. We all wanted him to be able to get more involved. I mean, of course, beast mode on low boost and getting caught out is just a little bit added bonus to making sure that goal went in. But now that Chronic is involved, Ultimates look a lot more consistent and threatening.
Well, Atomic will try to trigger something for NRG. He's gone over 500,000 career points in the RLCS in this series, and he's set up this play between Beast Mode and Daniel, and NRG are kind of back into it.
They're working their way there, a minute and 13 seconds to try and find 2 goals now, and that's just to tie things up. We're gonna see if it's possible. What do they do off the kickoff? 2 into the same, first killer to follow back. And Daniel just there to collect. Chronic's gonna try and take his challenge, but Daniel immediately low, past 1, but LJ's already there to follow. Off the backboard, enough to make a small double, and nobody from NRG can clear this ball out.
That's gonna frustrate them. Now as we get to the final minute, they need to get out and run. Atomic lets Daniel take charge. He's got beast mode to his left, and well, he thought about going, then thought about retreating, and then Daniel actually won the ball. Didn't matter, as Ultimate still come back the other way. And it's only Atomic on the field, so Chronic can beat him easily. And it goes across now to beast mode. Coming up on 30 to go. And Atomic just a little too strong on that pass for his reach, and so it's bombed away again. And they have to start from square one, down 2.
This one up in the corner here. First killer! I was curious if he was gonna make that angle with the amount of speed he had on it, and he does. It's right past everyone who attempted to get in his way, right over Daniel. 2:18 to go. The Ultimates make one of the best responses possible to a 5-1 loss in game 2.
And Ultimates still haven't done it with possession necessarily, but they are still making progress, just catching NRG napping. Of course, that in that instance, NRG had to kind of chase the game, so you excuse the shot ringing through. First killer can't catch up to that. Daniel will get one for the road. It only looks a little bit nicer on the scoreboard. It's a big dub for the Ultimates as they double up NRG in game 3.
An incredible win, but just, again, an even better response. This is exactly what they needed. I mean, realistically, they just looked so much better defensively against NRG, and that was really one of the bigger disconnects. We were all waiting to see how involved can Chronic get, because it felt like he was getting a little lost out there in those first 2 games of the series. But once they started, you know, incorporating him a little bit where he naturally fit in, they looked better, and they were able to catch NRG off guard a lot more than they were if they were trying to force it.
And they don't really force the ball to him, and ultimately, I don't know that he played much differently in that game, but the opportunities that were presented to him, he took advantage of. 2 big goals, and of course, what's the difference between Ultimates and NRG in game 3? 2 goals. He also adds a couple of saves and leads the team in shots. So Ultimates get a big boost out of Chronic, and they've also got a 2-1 series lead now over NRG. Just another classic battle between this NRG squad and the likes of First Killer, Chronic, and even LJ. They had some epic battles when he was with Space Station last year. Same faces up at the top, except the new Space Station's waiting to take the field a little bit later on, and they've got a lot to say about who might be the top dogs in North America. We'll see if one of these two squads can get a shot at them later on today, maybe to close it all out. We kick it off now in Game 4 at Utopia, a chance for Ultimates to get on match point and really make NRG sweat.
Talking about NRG having a sweat, I mean, they didn't have the best Swiss stage. They got taken all the way to round 5. This one, crossbar down and out. Daniel's gonna take his time, one touch, reset forward. Chronic and First Killer both have to double commit because they had nothing in the tank to show for it, but they managed their save and transition out. But I mean, like I said, right now, NRG, they've had moments, at least in this first split, that are questionable, but right now they're trying to change all of that.
That shot initially rang wide, and the follow-up did not find pay dirt. This will drop down to Atomic, though, and Chronic stuffs that well out in front. Beast mode blocked by LJ, and Chronic can just lob it downfield. Hope something good happens, but not much does. If Daniel's in defense, he's usually pretty sure-handed, and he is that time. He'll throw it all the way across, and everybody will get time to get boosted up. Most importantly, Daniel, as he grabs a full boost on the way back. Beast mode will try and keep possession now for NRG as Daniel's come back into the play, but LJ is all over it.
Atomic sends this one down. Second touch goes forward, no follow-up, and Daniel completely even demoed off the attempt to keep this one going upfield. And Ultimate's doing a much better job of just slowing this ball down, forcing NRG out of their rotations, and a lot of that's coming in with these very intense, aggressive plays. Back pass over to First Killer, over one, into the hands of Atomic.
Again, every game in this series has been so dramatically different from the previous one. So what kind of story will Game 4 tell? Right now, everybody having a tough time breaking through stalwart defense. Beast mode has Daniel all the way across, but Chronic read the play well, and he'll boot it downfield. And Atomic trying to change directions on the Ultimates attack, and he's done well enough. Past LJ. Still has First Killer and Chronic to deal with. Out to Daniel. Beast mode coming on, and LJ took him out.
And I really expect NRG to find something here quickly, because back on defense right now, the Ultimates are getting a little too close for comfort as far as shadowing each other extremely closely. This one's a setup for LJ. Daniel sends it off, and Beast mode to slow it down as Chronic pushes upfield. Half the game left to go, but that first half scoreless, very reminiscent of what we had seen before, until there was a shutout, right? So we haven't quite gotten that yet. As Beast mode goes around 1. Pass 2, is there the third? No.
Chronic running downfield, trying to take out Atomic. Now he's going to circle back, and he kind of gets clipped by Beast mode. Now LJ going to try to take it himself. Chronic waiting for a rebound, and Daniel does not afford him one. First Killer will try to keep the attack alive around the boards, and Atomic and Beast mode are right there for it. But neither has any boost, and LJ just stole what was left on the NRG half of the field. And Ultimates could keep this attack alive. Chronic, kind of a basic shot, trying to create a rebound for LJ. And that's still netward, and Daniel can't keep it out. In fact, he puts it in himself.
My heart just dropped for a second. This one 50'd, I mean, even on target, but Daniel went in front instead of behind, and at that point, you're just forced to try and make any touch you can. And unfortunately for him, it goes in, and Ultimates get their lead here. And when they need it most, it's gonna be taken away by the one who put it in. It's Daniel.
Well, Daniel's got 2 goals in this game. Unfortunately, the 2 teams are tied. First Killer almost got to it, but almost only counts in horseshoes. We're all tied up now, just over 100 ticks on the clock. And Atomic almost got that one through LJ off the kickoff, and the net was at least available, but a tough angle to score from that position. There's LJ, though, right on the doorstep, set up by First Killer, and the floodgates have opened between these two.
The shootout is officially beginning. The craziest from the ceiling down setup comes out as quickly as that response had come through, and now we got to see what NRG send off the kickoff. First Killer goes in, but Daniel to the backboard. Minute 27 on the clock. NRG now trailing by 1 again. Have to find something soon, otherwise Ultimates are going to be the first to go to match point.
And Daniel's had a rough series, a rough luck series, because he hasn't really made many bad reads. The ones he's missed have really been tough reads to make, especially that ball. You expect it to go straight down, instead it comes out. And now LJ looking for an exclamation point, and Atomic with an emphatic save. First Killer just lobs it back in, challenges NRG to go the length of the field yet again in the final minute. Ultimate's trying to put this one on ice. LJ up to the skies, and Daniel just gets rid of him. Atomic, all he can do is throw it to the corner, and he'll dive in, and Beast Mode is starting to go as well. NRG maybe not on the same page, may not matter. Beast Mode almost scored from up high. Another one sailed high, this time from Atomic, and no rebound to speak of as the Ultimates break out. 25 seconds remain, and NRG find themselves in an inopportune spot, having to defend, needing to chase the game a bit. LJ looking across, and Daniel will take this. First Killer tried to fake him out. Daniel right past him. Easy save for LJ as the final countdown goes on now. In game 4, will Ultimates get 3 shots at closing this series out? It sure looks like it, unless Daniel scores! Top left at 0!
Patience is an absolute virtue. Beast Mode with the calmest setup to Daniel for a 0-second goal in a forced overtime in game number 4.
Well, First Killer did it to Space Station yesterday. What else does Daniel have for us? Boy, he has been all over this game. And he's down on the offensive end again, trying to set anything up, and he just kind of let that one get away from him. Beast Mode can't stay with this play. First Killer has LJ waiting for a rebound, and Atomic will afford them none. It goes all the way back up to midfield. LJ has it now. Blocked out, and he'll still keep possession. That's a great job holding possession. Good fake out of First Killer, and Chronic shot does not ring true. Here comes NRG.
It's very low boost for NRG as well. Daniel really was the only one that had anything. Beast Mode collected on the side as he entered the ultimate half here, and Daniel's gonna take his time, leaves this for Atomic. Shot on target. First Killer and LJ managed to keep this one out and try and break into that NRG side, but Daniel says absolutely not. He 50s forward onto that midline. Atomic goes past, and Beast Mode, it's up to him to make sure this goes forward, and he tries to take it on his own. It's Atomic with a floater. Can Daniel finish? Yes!
I mean, Beast Mode taking this shot coming way out from the side wall. I think that kind of threw off Ultimates, and then it's just chaos. All 3 are just all over the place. And it's Daniel who cleans up the mess at the end, and this series is all square.
I mean, NRG, I'm going to be so real with you. That was a very questionable game at times. Like you said, poor Daniel. It really just felt unlucky a lot of the times. It wasn't even the worst performance ever. It was just, it really was unlucky at moments. You look back at the replays though, and this was the one that kicked it off. The 0-second goal, the pass from Beast Mode to Daniel, and of course, Daniel has the freest cleanup when all 3 members of the Ultimates committed to that save, and not a single person got a touch. And now it is a tied series in our second quarterfinal.
25 goals now for Daniel on the weekend, with a hat trick in game 4 to tie up the series. Just another heavyweight battle between 2 of NA's best. Even though they have struggled mightily at times, they are still major bound, you would have to imagine. This, of course, this day and the ones to come, going to have a lot to say about exactly where and if they will factor in to NA representation at Birmingham. But now we go to Aquadome for Game 5. Do they have an answer for Daniel? Has he hit a stride that is completely unstoppable? We will find out now as we kick it off in a tie-breaking 5th game.
And NRG had a good comeback, although a lot of it was at the end there, but Ultimates really have been making them work for it. And Ultimates can't make too many mistakes right now. And NRG already back in their half, first 20 seconds in. It's been a little back and forth, but NRG holding on to this ball for now.
Mental aspect is certainly going to come into play as First Killer makes the save there on a drive from Atomic. LJ paid the price for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but he can get his goal off the respawn, and he does! NRG caught too far forward again, and LJ off the respawn breaks a scoreless tie.
And this all started with Chronic. He was being an absolute menace to Beast Mode up in the air and had enough power to drive it past the midline for LJ to make the cheat. He caught off Daniel with no boost, and it's just a free shot at that point. Now they go again off the ceiling. He has his flip to work with. He uses the power to drive forward, but Daniel with the save.
Goals and 2 assists to go for Chronic here in this series, and we talked about how he hasn't been necessarily hovering around the ball as much. He has made the most out of the opportunities afforded to him as Beast Mode takes out LJ, and Chronic is there to try and follow up the play. Daniel says no, he'll bring it back the other way and just can't get past LJ, and Chronic making sure that there's no further follow-up immediately for NRG, but here it comes anyways. Daniel right at First Killer, and he will take possession from the back line. I mean, it's so important though. Yeah, okay, you can beat one, but can you beat the follow-up coming in on the attack for NRG? And often the answer to that has been no. They've done a good job keeping Ultimates from getting too comfortable on the counterattack, and they've done it yet again and afforded themselves at least one more opportunity, finally squandered by LJ.
Ooh, that was close. It was a great save, but First Killer follow-up still denied by Atomic, even on very low boost. Great clear by Daniel. Chronic had that backboard on lock, though. 3 minutes to go here in this game number 5. Atomic tries to get past one. I do like what I'm seeing from the Ultimates defensively. Backboard has been a lot more covered, and that does tend to be the MO for NRG at times, where they try and use that to get to each other. But for now, they're doing a lot of these infields, and even then, those are also being intercepted.
Beast Mode's done well to get by LJ, but that touch has got away from him, and First Killer towards an empty net that Daniel does catch up to. And what else does he have in store for us? He ran out of boost, still managed to connect with Beast Mode. He can still stay in this play, and Daniel might turn on this. No, First Killer had it all the way, so Daniel making the far more conservative play, realizing, of course, still 2.5 minutes. There's no need to throw caution to the wind just yet. You know that he's capable.
More than capable. First Killer tried to send this one to Chronic. I like the bump off as well. NRG needs that aggression back into their lives if they want to slow Ultimates down, because at the end of the day right now, NRG are trailing. Now it's just by 1, but that still feels like a lot. Beast Mode able to keep this one out, but they can't get out of their own half. One of the better clears, Beast Mode was already up for it and tries to make some sort of initial start to a play, but Ultimates really have done an incredible job with every cutoff, every bump off to NRG to really just frustrate them in this game 5.
Oh, everybody running forward, and Atomic hits everything but not into the net. Oh, heartbreak for NRG with 90 seconds left, and here comes Ultimates back the other way. It's Chronic stopped at the crossbar, and Beast Mode will try again. You gotta have a short-term memory for NRG, and Chronic again with another clean break away from NRG.
You really and truly can't even stop your level of speed here, because like you said, short-term memory is gonna be the only way you get back into this one. Beast Mode with a shot, and in NRG to tie things up.
They do it yet again. Atomic will pick up an assist. He continues to be a massive presence for NRG, setting the table yet again. We're all square with just over a minute to go. Daniel's gonna have all day to play this. LJ just waiting for him to make a mistake, and he might as well wait. for a very, very long time. First killer, looking for Chronic maybe. No, LJ was forward. And Atomic makes sure that LJ doesn't have a comfortable shot. We're into the final minute now. And crunch time for NRG and Ultimates. Surely a timeout coming after this game, regardless, because somebody's going to have 2 shots at closing out the series.
30 seconds left. LJ is up with this one. Atomic's just trying to shadow him and make things difficult, but Beast Mode from behind. The demo onto Chronic means First Killer's just gonna have to awkwardly send this one back. And Atomic to the center. Nobody's gonna get the follow. 15 on the clock. Can NRG steal it away one more time? We'll find out here as Beast Mode's in the corner, challenged by FK and LJ, and they send this one back. Daniel to kill in the mid. First Killer, no boost. Most he can do is just lurk and hope that Chronic is ready to go, and he is. But Daniel from the ceiling, this one to the side, and LJ takes this one up to the sky. Sends this one down to FK, and he gets killed. We have OT.
Boy, if that had connected, what an exclamation point on a wild 5th game. LJ double lined up, and Atomic with a hand up to make sure this overtime does not end in only 10 seconds. Now LJ called into action on the other side and does make the save just over the bar. Double commit there for NRG. May not be costly as they do get the ball to the back line, and they even keep possession. Ultimates kind of let an opportunity to break out go by the wayside, just not in position to make them pay for what should have been costly double commit.
Smooth. It's making me nervous because they're getting closer and closer each time, and it's forcing the Ultimates to make their challenges a little bit quicker, not as clean. Chronic and LJ going to work together, but it's low boost all the way around, which means NRG is going to have their way with its ball in the sky. This 150 down, and LJ took it back. He tried to pinch it out a little bit, taking his time, reset, not past 1. This one goes down. Chronic has shot opportunity, but the Beast Mode post save keeps their hope alive. Atomic with a shot, transition out. There is no stopping NRG.
No, there is not, and they persevere through all of it. Back-to-back overtime winners. This one comes from Atomic, and NRG gets 2 bites at the apple to try and close out Ultimates.
They look so good, and it's really weird because I know it's probably odd for a lot of people to hear, but NRG, weirdly, this is the most inconsistent we've seen them probably ever, especially when you're comparing them to themselves last year. But I will say, Ultimates genuinely is a tough challenge to go up against. Unfortunately for the Ultimates, when it matters most, what usually is the problem area really became the problem area. That defense, being able to defend those quick transitions out from NRG like this, are the exact reason why they fell in that game 5.
So Ultimates will get a timeout here. Sad Jr. will take plenty of time to try and talk to his team. We were talking about the mental aspect of it very briefly a couple of games ago, and you've got 2 of the most well-respected coaches, not just in the region, but the world here in Sad Jr. and Sathu, that get to talk their team through the end of this series now. Looking to go, of course, to Neo Tokyo for Game 6 and then potentially Champions Field if Ultimates can take care of business here. And I think if you're Sathu, even if Ultimates had won that overtime, and then it would obviously have been Sathu calling the timeout, you're not really upset with how the series has gone because NRG has consistently maintained possession. They've maintained control. They've maintained boost. They've controlled it very well. They haven't really been caught out of position. I mean, yes, they've given up some empty net goals, but they haven't been caught out of position without any boost. There have been a few kind of, I guess, fluky balls that have got through and gone into their net. But overall, they're going to be very happy with how they've played this series. If they play the way they have throughout this series, yes, they're going to win more often than not. And I think that's going to be the message for NRG as they try to close this out.
110%. And of course, at the end of all of it, there is just a level of respect that Ultimates have to pay to NRG, even if they aren't the most consistent, even if Ultimates are capable of, you know, finding the odd goal here and there. NRG, more times than not, are very intentional with everything that is happening on the field. And now NRG sit match point, one win away from the semifinal and potentially going off against Complexity.
Daniel has become unlocked for NRG. Didn't factor into the gameplay much in the first half of this series, as the assist and of course the hat trick from the previous game. Now it's on Ultimates to try and shut him down, and more importantly, the entirety of NRG. Good luck.
I think that's really just the best you can say to them at this point in time, is really and truly just good luck. They're trying their hardest, but even right now, Ultimates, they're trying to pre-read what NRG is doing to break out of their half, and they've done a great job of doing so. I'm just waiting for the big clear. Now, Thomas going to try and do it with the reset attempt past First Killer, but that means First Killer had to use all his resources and pass this off to LJ. LJ uses everything he can to reset forward towards that net, but Daniel knocks this out, and the clear goes through. Beast Mode once again catching Ultimates off their game.
That First Killer waiting on the wing. Chronic starts creeping up, and Beast Mode just comes right in, yoink, right down the middle. And that is a tough one to swallow for Ultimates, as they gotta feel like they just gave NRG a freebie. And this one dangerously close to the net. Watch the follow-up. Atomic was forward with plenty of boost, but he couldn't get up in the air quick enough. And First Killer can't direct that through the wide wall that was the NRG defense.
Right now, Ultimates really just, you gotta stay so communicative about everything you are about to do. You cannot play as individuals anymore. Daniel sends this back. First Killer, low boost, but keeps this little further. Beast Mode's already up in their faces. Atomic's up next. Nobody gets bumped off. Chronic manages to get the save, but all of Ultimates was fairly low on boost. This one pops up into the sky, and somehow NRG do not find themselves in that net.
All LJ can do here is try to bring the ball deep into NRG territory, and he could not even do that. Now Atomic for Beast Mode again. This time First Killer got a piece, but Atomic, quick shot under the bar in game 6 and a 2-0 lead.
I mean, if you've got it, flaunt it. Beast Mode took that original challenge, and Atomic was like, nope, straight cut, turn, take the shot, and hope it floats in, and it does. They're just magnets to the net now as NRG go up by 2 with only 3 minutes left. And a lot of this has been Beast Mode just taking that initiative. He's that big wall that really slows things down when needed and then pinches it forward when you want it. Daniel's up next, taking his time as this one into the corner. Beast Mode and Atomic are lurking as LJ tries to go upfield.
I mean, Ultimates have not been comfortable much in this series. 20 demos, by the way, coming into this game, opposed to just 7 or 8 from Ultimates. I mean, they have always had to be looking over their shoulder, waiting for someone like Atomic to come along and take them out of the play. First Killer now has LJ in support. Instead, Obstacle his own number. And a little bit of my turn offense now for Ultimate, which has kind of always plagued teams like FaZe or Gen G in the past. Now Daniel takes that away from First Killer. Also got Chronic on the way down. More possession time out of NRG with a 2-goal lead and only 2 minutes to hold on.
Still keep going. This one to the backboard. Waterfall down. Beast Mode said not to the ground. It won't. And LJ is going to take a shot. Daniel meets him at the crossbar and says no. They're clearing out and they're forcing Ultimates back into their own half. And again, all eyes have been really on Chronic to get involved. He's had a couple of moments where he looks great enough to finally push Ultimates through. But for now, it's LJ going to this corner. A minute 30 on the clock here. All Ultimates can do is just try and keep the ball in their half, but even that is becoming a challenge.
Atomic's going to take his time trying to line one up, and a high bouncer throws First Killer for a loop, so Chronic's got to take over. Now LJ just boom it downfield. This dump and chase strategy has not worked for a couple of games now for Ultimates, but they're going to keep ringing that bell until it breaks, and it might in just over a minute. First Killer Lob it up. Atomic's all over it. He had no forward momentum at all, so it was easy pickings for Atomic. And now Daniel just throw it up there again, and it forces Ultimates. Even though there was no threat, nobody from NRG went. Just the threat is enough. Ultimates have to burn so much boost just to get a touch, even try to start the ball downfield. And then when they finally do, NRG is already back in position. They are content to win this 2-0 unless an open net presents itself, which it almost has here. Chronic will turn on it, and now Daniel will try to start milking the final 30 seconds. This has to be it, though, for Ultimates. First killer has a lane, and Atomic shuts it down.
21 seconds before NRG do exactly what they've done every single time since we've seen this roster form, and that is let everybody know that even when it seems like there is a chance to take them down, they will rise to the occasion. 4 seconds on the clock here. Last moment efforts, but it's not enough. NRG will live to see another semifinal.
Rumors of this roster's demise have been greatly exaggerated and a fair bit premature. NRG get 2 overtime winners back-to-back, and then a shutout in Game 6. And NRG looks to be in the same type of form that we've expected from the start of this whole process, and we haven't seen until exactly now.
I mean, it's so frustrating for the Ultimates, right? They really looked like they could have done it. They had these shining moments, but of course, I feel like this goes for almost any series you usually see the Ultimates in since they've formed. Sometimes the balance between offense and defense is just too like teeter-tottered. They really quite haven't been able to find that good middle ground yet. But when they do find it, that's where they take the games off of NRG. Unfortunately for them, NRG just forced them to play way too much defense, and they were trying to pull out a miracle at the end there, and you can't stop what essentially has been one of the greatest teams in the world.
I mean, NRG had a great game plan for success. They kept possession. They played a very physical game, primarily going after First Killer and making him uncomfortable. And it was all enough as they survive in 6 games and they advance. We've got plenty more coming your way. We'll crown a winner of this North American Open much later on as the RLCS rolls on after this.
Don't pause, replay. Quick. Don't pause, press play.
I run away with you.
reason I